Hey everybody, this is Sarah,
And this is Catherine.
and this is week 3 of Pacesetters class. Are you ready?
Woohoo!
Okay, cool. So this is kind of fun. The two of us are doing the same Pacesetters for both my team and for her team, and we're together this weekend. So we thought, hey, let's kill one bird with two stones. Well, no, kill two birds with one stone.
So we're doing it together.
Woo-hoo! Okay, cool. So are we ready? What's sharing? Why do we share?
Oh, why do we share? I love to give women what we have in Mary Kay. Financially, emotionally, it's fun.
And it just, sometimes you can feel like you're sharing and it's too, it's for you to build your team. Because, yes, you do want to share to build your team and build your business and make big girl bucks, like Catherine likes to say. But really, Mary Kay told us if there's one thing you can do for me, it's to share our opportunity and make it the opportunity of the land. And that's why we do it. We share to give women a plan B, or some women even a plan A, and they get to see, what this can do for their family and for their life. So, any other reasons why we share?
I think you summed it up really good.
All right, cool. Awesome. So when we share, we move up in different stages of our career path. So Catherine, would you like to take it away?
So you may have this. It came in your starter kit. And it just goes over the steps to success. So I'm going to open it up because I have a cheat sheet. But when you're a brand new beauty consultant and you don't have anyone on your team, this is your pen.
Yay!
So, when we're a beauty consultant, we are eligible for our 50% profits, and you can be a star consultant. And that's about it. But then when you start building your team, your very first team member, you become a senior consultant. It's got one little diamond on there. Isn't that cute? So when you become a senior consultant, that's when you start to earn team building commission from Mary Kay. So when you're a senior, you've got 1 to 2 active consultants on your team, and you're eligible for 4% team commission. So that means whatever your team orders that month, you're going to make 4% from Mary Kay. And don't worry, your commission doesn't hurt your team in any way. This is Mary Kay's way of saying thanks for bringing her into the business. She's out there reaching people that you might not know, you can't get to. Then the next step up the career path is our Star Team Builder. Woo! This is a big step. Only 6% of Mary Kay girls reach this level. And you might also hear it called the red jacket. Now, from this level up until you reach directorship, you wear a red jacket, but this is the first position you get to slip it on. So our Star Team Builder has 3 to 4 active team members. So you're still eligible for that 4% team commission, but then with your 4th team member, you start earning an extra bonus when your team member comes in with inventory. Bonuses are awesome. So every time from that point forward, when you bring in a qualified team member, which means they start with 600 or more inventory, you get a $50 bonus. Like that's like a pair of shoes or like a pretty decent fancy dinner.
Yeah, for you and your hubby.
Yeah, so fun. Then our next step, this is a big jump. Team leader. So you've got 5 to 7.
We say 5 is where it's at because what happens when you have 5 people on your team?
You can go out and in your car.
So 5 is where it's at. You want to get to 5.
Yes, you want to get to 5. And also at this team leader position, you almost double your paycheck. Well, you do. You double to triple from because you'll either make 9 or 13% commission off your team. And you're eligible for those $50 bonuses whenever she starts with her inventory. So the difference of if you make 9% or 13% is based on what you personally do. So when you place less than a $600 order during the month, you'll make 9% off your team. If you do 600 or more, you make 13%. And the reason is Mary Kay is going to reward you for leading by example and selling some product. Mary Kay says nothing happens until somebody sells something. So you want to be leading the way, showing your team members to hold those appointments.
And with $600 orders, you also get your monthly bracelet.
Oh,
So,
have y'all seen the new one?
do you have
I
one?
don't have it. It hadn't come yet.
Dang it, yeah, I don't have
before I
mine
came.
either.
They're beautiful. And this year, they hired a designer to make them.
So fancy.
Wow, so
So
fancy.
fancy. They look really cool.
Okay, our next jump is future sales director. Look at all those blingies. Like 8 diamonds. 8 diamonds. So future director has, oh goodness, 8 or 9 on their team that are active. So at this level, you'll make 9 or 13%, and you're just a breath away to going into what we call DIQ, Directorship and Qualification. Or our national Kate likes to say it stands for do it quick.
Do it quick. Oh my gosh, do it quick. Don't do it slow. It would be DIS if it was do it slow, and it's not DIS, it's DIQ.
So that's our next level on the career path. Before we get to directorship, our last step is DIQ. DIQ is your qualification period to officially become a sales director. And when you become a sales director, you about quadruple your paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
and you get your own little group of people. They're all yours.
You're the mama, and they're the baby hens, or the baby chicks. You're the mama hen, they're the baby chicks.
So in DIQ, you'll still either make 9 or 13%, but you're working your way to becoming a director. And then when you become a sales director, which we don't have that pin.
Oh, it's on our jacket. Oh,
That's why.
That's why it's
Look
not
how
here.
fancy this one is. It's really fancy. It's gold in the middle. So when you become a director, as a director, we still make 9 or 13% off of our team. But then you'll either make 9 or 13% off your entire unit. So that's all your people's people. So on your personal recruits, you can actually make up to double on them. Then, yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then you can also receive what we call a unit volume bonus of 10% once your unit hits 5,000 or more. And then there is, instead of making $50 for a qualified recruit, you make $100. So
It doubles.
it doubles.
It doubles. And just to take it a step back, so let's say you're a normal consultant with 5 people on your team, you're a star team, no, you're a team builder. Yeah, team leader with 5 people on your team, you're on track for your car. And you do a $5,000 month to be on target for your car. As a consultant, you just get normal, 13% on your whole team. If you were a director, that unit development bonus, just to give you an example of what it would look like, on a $5,000 month, so a car qualifying month, you'd make an additional $500. So that's what that means. Like, who can get excited about $500? Like, 5 is where it's at. Yes. Okay. So just a little to put that in as a plant.
And then just some extra bonuses as directors. We have different bonuses throughout the year for example, how many stars each quarter.
Mhm.
And we get a Christmas bonus. It's called a wellness bonus. It's based on how we've done. We get bonuses at the end of the year, depending on how we've done for the year as well, which that comes in June, July, somewhere around there. So there's just lots and lots and lots of bonuses. So I want to give you some advice, and we'd love to give you the whole big picture so you can get excited, but just think about the next big step. When I decided to start building my team, I really didn't have a vision of becoming a director. It was just, well, I have 1 team member. I guess I could get 2 more. What's another 2? And then I became a red jacket, and then it was like, well, what's another 2 more?
To get to car
So I just
qualification.
kept doing that, and then all of a sudden, I found myself at DIQ, and I was like, well, I mean, this is pretty cool, so might as well keep going. Might as well keep going. So that's a little bit about our career path.
And here's the thing, if you are brand spanking new to your business, do it quick. Just start building, listen to your director, share with every single person you have at your table to facial, and go with it from day one. If you're like me, so I know Catherine did that from day one. Like, she came into her business and she, right, wanted to just get going right ahead. For me, it took me, so I'm going to give you hope. For those of y'all that have been in Mary Kay for a while and you're like, no, it's not my team. This is your hope right here, okay? It took me an entire year, 1 full year, to get my first team member on my team, simply because I just did not understand the process or the importance. I didn't really realize the impact you could make, A, on your paycheck, and B, in other women's lives. So it took me a year to finally open my mouth and share it the right way after I really talked to my director about what does this mean, what's the process, what information do I have to give them. And she helped me along the whole way. It's not like she just threw some packet in my face and said, here you go. She really coached me on exactly what to say, how to say it, when to say it. I mean, like, she did it. She did it all. So that's what we're here for you guys for, to help you in that process. And it's never too late to start sharing. It's really never too late. So she did it right out the gate. Took me a year to finally get the ball rolling. So there you go. There's your little smidgen of hope.
Okay. Well, next up, Sarah's going to talk to you about developing a strong iStory.
All right, so iStory, you're going to hear that term in Mary Kay a lot. And you're going to see it on the big screen at events about such and such national director. It's going to share her iStory. You're going to hear iStories for the rest of your life in Mary Kay, so get used to it. But you have to develop your own iStory. Okay, so here, let me give you a few fun tips on how this works. Let me pull up my notes here 1 second. All right. So, iStory. Before we go into things that you want to put in your iStory, we're going to get the negative out of the way and tell you things to avoid in your iStory. Okay? So, first thing, you're going to want to avoid assumptions. Other people will see their story through your story. So, what they could potentially see themselves in Mary Kay, you're the first window of that could be me. Okay? So you don't want to, our goal is for commonality across the board. You don't want to assume she's unhappy in her job, that she wants to stay home, that she needs friends. You don't want to assume that stuff on her, but you still want to be able to incorporate them into your story. So like for me, I wanted to be able to stay home with my kids. I can't even tell you how many people I've run into that love our opportunity, but that would be the furthest thing from their mind because they want their kids in daycare or they don't have kids or whatever the situation is, and that would not be their reason why. So you want to make sure you don't harp on one specific thing, that this is my story because I wanted to stay home with my kids. Because if people don't connect to that, it's almost like you've lost them right out the gate. Okay, so that's number one. Avoid assumptions about people. Number two is don't share too many details. Like detailed details. Have you ever done that where a story that should take a minute takes you 15 minutes to explain because you're giving, the color of the shirt you were wearing at that certain part, but that certain day when your kid did whatever, okay? So you don't want to give too many details about your path. You want to just give them a brief overview. And I remember as a new consultant, I know that's why I was not sharing well, because I was giving them the play-by-play of how I met my recruiter, how she facialed me, how she did this, how she did every little bit and piece, and they were bored by the time I actually got to the good stuff of what it means to be in Mary Kay. The third thing, Mary Kay specific terms, stay away from them. So things like red jacket, DIQ, qualified, national sales director, those things, if you're new in Mary Kay, you're still learning them, so you didn't know what they were a couple weeks ago. But it's like military terms to the rest of the world. Nobody knows what that means. So I know for a long time I kept telling everybody, come on, I need one more person on my team. I want to be a DIQ. Nobody knows what that is. Nobody understands. They didn't care. And you might take it personally that they don't care, but it's not that they don't care. It's that they just don't know what they mean. So leave them out of your story. When you want to talk about you moving up, you just say you want to move up into leadership. Because even having one person on your team is moving up into a leadership position, because now you have one person to lead and help guide through the business, okay? So stay away from all those fancy terms. They don't know what you're talking about. Number 4, avoid being too short or too long. A compelling story, a compelling iStory will be more than 20 seconds, but it doesn't need to be 20 minutes, okay? So don't give your 2-sentence story of what happened to where you were in Mary Kay and call it a day, but also don't, go into the details of what your life was. So the average time length that you want to stick between are at a skincare party or a skincare class, you want to stick between 2 to 5 minutes, okay? You don't want to have it too long. You want to get to the product. You want to, keep it short. They're not here to see your lifetime original of your story sitting at your kitchen table, okay? When you are doing a marketing presentation, so let's say you're at a coffee date with somebody, sharing with them more about our business, that will be a little bit longer because now they've expressed some interest. They want to know a few more details because they've heard the 2 to 5 minutes at your party. So now they want some more. So that'll be about 10 to 15 minutes, okay? 5 to 10 minutes, sorry. 5 to 10 minutes, nothing too long. That gets crazy. And then the next level of length you want is for it to be about 10 to 15 minutes once you debut as a director. So once you get to that point, we'll coach you on what to add into your story, but stick to the basics of why you want to do this, how long you've been in your business, and I guess you'll go over a few other details when we get to the party bug. But there you have it. So the next thing, avoid feeling like you don't have an I story because you haven't really accomplished something yet in your business. I remember when I started, I was a college student. I didn't really have a story, just, I babysat for this lady that did Mary Kay and she recruited me. Like that was my story. There was really no more meat to it. So I told her story and I went into all the details of her life because I felt like I needed to give them, paint the picture of who my recruiter Callie was as if she was in the room, but she wasn't there. So it just didn't make any sense to them. When you can't put a story with a face, it doesn't work. So figure out, you will have some compelling things about yourself right out the gate with why you wanted to do your business and what it's doing for you in your life now. So yes, avoid feeling like you don't have a story because every one of us have a story. And then the last thing, a compelling story has 3 points. It'll be different for each person, but you want to pick 3 different things that you want to really touch on in your business. And it's kind of funny because before we put these notes together, one of my aunts, she has this little thing that she says about anything, whether she's been to a movie or a party or wherever she is. When you ask her, hey, how was it? She says, it was great. I laughed. I cried. It moved me. So that's the same thing here. You want to make them laugh. You want to make them cry. And I don't mean like sobbing, bawling at your party because we don't need to take out the Kleenex boxes. But, get them to feel something about your story to where maybe they might be, like touching up, making sure their eyeliner's not splurging away. And then you want to move them. You want to make something stir in their hearts because, ladies, women are emotional. We're emotional creatures. And that's just how you get to a woman's heart, through her emotions. They say, do you get to a man's heart through his stomach or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Is that the line? Okay.
So.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'll tell you a little bit about my story and then a little bit about my one of my team members' stories. So when I first started, I was really excited about meeting somebody who worked from home, which was my recruiter, Callie, and I wanted her life. And I wanted to be able to say that in the future, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I went to work and I'm messing up on my own story here. Hold on.
You guys are making her nervous.
I know. Stop looking at me. So I wanted to, and again, as I go into this, your story may change over time because when I first started, I didn't know I wanted these things. Later on in my story of Mary Kay, my mind changed a little bit and I wanted different things out of my life. So every about a year or so, you kind of tweak your story as to what's going on right now or what's important to you right now. But I financially wanted to be on my own. I wanted to be able to work, but also stay at home with my future kids. And that's what I wanted. Like, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. When I grew up, my mom was not a stay-at-home mom. She had to work in order for, her and my dad to make things happen and make ends meet. But I knew that, and I didn't ever hold it against her. No big deal. She may regret it, but I never held it against her. But I knew for my kids, I wanted to be home with them. So that was what I was setting out to do. And another huge thing I wanted to do was earn a car. And what was crazy was I needed to kind of gain the respect of my dad. He didn't really get what was going on. He thought it was, Mary Kay was one of those pyramid things that, he was just like, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. And I was like, Daddy, you don't understand. But I couldn't tell him that. He just didn't get it. And he was in the car industry, and he knew what a new free car meant. And he never bought us any new cars or anything like that. He would buy us used cars and say, run it to the ground, and then we'll buy you another one. And so when I got my next car, that's when, or my first car, and I could say, look, Daddy, here's the keys to my free Mary Kay car. I finally gained his respect. It was just like, wow, he finally had pride in me. Because up until then, he was like, we paid for your college and you're going to sell lipstick? Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh, no, I promise you I'm not the failure of the family, okay? So those were my three big things: wanting to be a stay-at-home mama, wanting that car, and then I guess I didn't touch on the third thing. But I really wanted to be able to make a difference in women's lives and be in a leadership position like I am now and have that direct impact. So see how I said my story in like 3 minutes? 4 minutes maybe? Yeah. Another gal that comes to mind, her story is really, really good at moving women with children. So sometimes you kind of cater it to what your story is, but for her, Shannon, she's actually one of my Offspring directors. She at first started her Mary Kay business, and it wasn't anything more than a little extra cash. Like, that's what it was for her. And she decided one day that she wanted to work her business a lot more. When she went to her little girl's kindergarten awards assembly, she was a full-time working mom, and she had to take time off of work and pull some strings because it was in the middle of the day, and she didn't want to take the whole day off, but it was complicated. And she took the day off, or the time off, to go to her daughter's school and be there for this little awards assembly. And she got there, and all the little kids got up and got their awards. And, mind you, up until now, Shannon had been saying she wanted some kind of a change in her life. She didn't know what it would be, but she wanted some kind of a change. And when she saw that all the kids were so excited to see their parents there, get their award, take a picture, have that little moment of, woohoo, you're about to graduate kindergarten. She saw one little girl out of a class of over 20 students, get her award, scan the room, did not see her family there. Did not see her mom there, did not see her dad there. They weren't there. And she just went back to her seat, set her little head down, and just started to cry. It was the quietest little cry as to not draw attention to herself, but she sat there and cried because no one was there to cheer her on. Now, we're not saying her parents are bad parents at all, but and we would like to believe that they wanted to be there, and they just couldn't for one reason or another, because I do remember times when my mom couldn't be at something for me, or my dad couldn't be at something for me because of work. And so Shannon set out to say, this is never happening to me. And she called me later that day, and she's like, all right, we're done with this full-time job. We need to work this Mary Kay. How do I do this bigger? So that's a huge part of her ice story. So do you see how you want to make them laugh? You want to make them cry? Not cry, but, just get a little misty-eyed. And you want to move them. You want to have them feel something, okay? So how grateful are you for your Mary Kay business? This would be something that you would put into your ice story. Why are you grateful for your Mary Kay business? So another example would be one of my friends, Julie. She wanted to take her family on a trip for Christmas with only her Mary Kay money. And she did it. She had just moved across the country to where they were living now. And she was lonely and she was depressed because she didn't know anybody. But she knew she needed a change, and that's when Mary Kay came into her life. And she saw it as a way to be able to make friends, get to know her community, give back to the community, make her town pretty with Mary Kay, and all the while selling product, making 50% to be able to take her family on a vacation. And here's the cool thing about Julie is that she's a teacher. Not everybody that comes into Mary Kay is going to, become directors like us. That's just not their calling. If it's your calling to just earn a free car and be a team leader in Mary Kay, awesome. Yay. It's your calling. I know, we love you where you are. But what was neat about Julie is, like I said, she's a teacher. She had that calling to be a teacher. She says she loves making people feel good. As a teacher, she's called to help kids grow and learn. And what's cool is she learned through her Mary Kay business that maybe you can take it to a higher level in your business by just diving a little bit deeper and not affecting the whole, feng shui of life. She thought about it in a teacher perspective. Sometimes you're frustrated because these kids are that you've invested in these kids and so much time has gone into them, and they go home to a stressful environment, and to a mom that's stressed out financially, or someone who maybe doesn't take time for themselves. Mary Kay could be something huge for them. And so she saw a lot further than what her little sales of getting to her vacation would be to so many more women. Are we following me here? I know I'm kind of all over the page here, but you have a chance to change that. Just like Julie had a chance to change that, she had a chance. You have a chance to change that in your family and in others by just sharing your story. And you never know where it'll take you. So, nice story. Top thing. Keep it short, but not too long. Or no, keep it just the right size. And you want to make them say, "It was great. I laughed. I cried. It moved me." And that's a good I story right there. So there we go. Take it away, Catherine.
So this next week, we want you to work on your I story and share that with us, because sometimes it just takes a little outside tweak to, hone in on those important parts, or to say, "Oh, I think you're getting a little too detailed."
Yeah.
Because it's your story, you're excited about it, and sometimes we just don't see that. Mm-hmm. So, and then we want to practice it so that when you're at your party, it just rolls right off your tongue, and you're comfortable sharing, but it's just the right amount of moving.
Yeah. So you can practice in front of the mirror. Like I've practiced in front of the mirror a ton of times. Make sure you smile. And then a fun thing I did a lot too was I recorded it, just in a note on my Voxer or on your phone or wherever you want to record it, and listen to it back. Because once you start listening to it back, you'll really start to memorize those bits of the most important things you need to share, and not feel like you're going on a bunny trail, but then you remember, "Oh, no, that wasn't in my story." So it helps you really stick to what you want to convey, not just go on a bunch of rabbit trails in your party. So.
And it's totally okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is 2 different ways to share. It's totally okay for all of you that are using our party book or whatever type of reference you use at your parties. It's okay that on the note section, just to write it out and put it in there. We of course want you to practice it so that you're not having to read your own story the whole time.
Yeah.
But we know you get nervous at parties. I mean,
you need bullet notes.
Yeah. Like I've been in Mary Kay for almost 5 years, and sometimes I'll get to a party, I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah. You just have like, when I was small, I would call it a brain fart. And you would just forget what happened. What were you saying? Shh, don't tell my mom. That to her, that's the F word. But you just need a refresher, a few bullet notes. That's okay.
So what we're going to talk about next is different ways to share. So we like to share our I story at the beginning of your appointment. So because more than likely around your table is only 1 or 2 people that you might know. Everybody else might kind of know you, but they don't really know you. So it allows you to connect early on with them. So we're going to...
It's okay. I have a baby. He's waking up from his nap, but his daddy's getting him. So if you hear a crying baby, we are not ignoring our child, I promise you.
He has lots of love and
Being
support.
taken care of.
So now we're actually going to talk about how do we share the facts about Mary Kay. What I love about Mary Kay is, believe it or not, most people decide to join your team based on how you make them feel, not the facts, because the facts of our company are so phenomenal. But how we talked about in our iStory, we don't want to get too detailed. It's same with sharing the facts. So Sarah and I are going to go over two different ways. So I'm going to go over the way that is in our flip chart, which I love because it's just short, simple, to the point, kind of gives them a little peek into Mary Kay. And then if they're like, oh, maybe, then the next step would be, you know, have them watch a video or meeting of the coffee. Yeah, coming to an event, doing coffee, something like that. So how do we share? So for some of you might not have this book, so I'm just going to go over it really quick, and then Sarah's going to go over hers. So, you know, I think it's really easy for people to know how doctors and teachers and lawyers make their money, but it's mysterious how Mary Kay works.
Or so they think.
You know what I think is so cool about Mary Kay is, out of all the different companies out there, if you Google Mary Kay, like our marketing plan comes right up. There's no questions. It's flat on the table.
And anyone has access to the little steps for success. This writes it all out. What you're making, when you're making it. It's fantastic.
How it works. Yeah, how it works. There's no secrets. Nothing changes. There's no squiggly lines.
Fine print, it's not there.
Okay, so how do I share at my party? So I tell them, now I want to tell you a little bit about the Mary Kay opportunity. I think a lot of people know how doctors and teachers and lawyers make their money, but they don't really know how Mary Kay works. If it's not for you, it's totally okay, not a big deal, but at least you know a little bit more about it. And also, I don't know who you might know that it could be for. So in Mary Kay, we earn our money two different ways. We make 50% on everything we sell. So for example, we buy something for $1, we sell it for $2. And then we can also choose to build a team. And when we build a team, we build bonuses. Now, what's really cool is when we sell our product, we make our money at the point of purchase. So you don't have to wait for a traditional paycheck. We love instant gratification. I think we all do. You make that money right away. And when life happens and you need to put gas in the car or food on the table, or your kid comes home and says, my yearbook money is due tomorrow, and you're like, what? I used to get in trouble for that a lot when I was a kid.
How long did you have this sheet? 2 weeks.
So, you know, you can make that money right away. Our products are consumable. 80% of first-time purchasers become repeat purchasers. So we teach you how to have a relationship with your customers so that when they run out, they come back to you for more. Because secret, mascara doesn't last for we don't have any territories or quotas. So you can have friends and family across the country that either purchase product from you, or they can do the Mary Kay business with you. And also, I love to do this. You might not be able to see my elbows, but go, you don't have to worry about me going, if you don't sell Mary Kay things, I'm not going to fire you. Because we don't have any quotas. We don't have any quotas. So you can work it when you want. You know, with my Mary Kay income, I pay my mortgage. But I have girls on my team that they just want to buy a pair of shoes and not feel guilty. That's okay. You don't have quotas, so you can do what you want to do. Prizes and perks are really, really fun. For new consultants, it starts as a set of pearls, and then it turns into free cars, free diamonds, and trips around the world. And where I do my parties in my home, there's a few of my star prizes around. So I say, you know, those are the luxurious prizes that are really cool, but then I have a popcorn maker by Mary Kay that's sitting it's sitting right by my table. So I'm like, that's a Mary Kay prize. So like I point to a couple of my prizes that they can see in my home just so I can see that it's real. And you know, maybe if you're bringing me and your pearls so that you can wear them and show off your pearls so that they can see this fun prizes and perks. And then of course we teach you how to do this business. There's no experience necessary. We have a fun cheat sheet that tells you what to say. So if you're nervous, just read this and flip and smile. And you can totally do Mary Kay. So whether you do it as a hobby, a small business, a big business, we love you wherever you are. So this page is really important. You have to tell them if they want to, what does it take to become a Mary Kay Beauty consultant? So how do you join? It's $100 plus shipping and tax. This is everything you get. I like to say it's the best coupon ever because it costs $100, but we get $446 of full-size product, and then almost $200 worth of business supplies. So you have everything you need. It's really, really simple. The kit will show up in a couple of days, and then we'll get together and I'll help you do your business. So if you think this might be something for you, or you just want to know a little bit more, let me know during our individual session and we can talk more about it. So that is how I share at my podium.
So that's one really good way, and all the words are there. Okay, right there in your flip chart. And you have your flip chart on your website? Yep. And I have my flip chart on my website. It's just the exact same thing. So what you just saw is there. Go to our website. It's there. Okay. Another way that I like to share is, and really it's just based on personal preference. Catherine doesn't have any children. She doesn't have mommy brain. I have mommy brain. So I like to use acronyms to save things in my head and make sure I don't forget important stuff and details that I need to share. So I use what's called Mrs. Cap. And do you have it on your website?
No, but I can put it on my website.
You can put it on your website. It's on my website. So Mrs. Cap stands for money, recognition, self-growth, cars, accomplishments, and boss. Okay, so I'll kind of go through all these different things at my party. So this is kind of setting it up for you, and now I'll go into mode of I'm at my party. So all right, awesome. So we've just covered all of the skincare, and now I just want to go into sharing a little bit more about the business. Should you, feel like you need a little bit more in your life, or should you know somebody in the back of your mind that you're thinking, oh, this girl might be really good at this, and she needs a second job, or she needs a plan B. So this is why I'm telling you this. There's no obligation, but I always want to tell you this just because if somebody hadn't shared with me, I don't know where I'd be today. But Mrs. Cap is is all the different reasons why someone might want to join our company and start their own business. And M stands for the money. In Mary Kay, we make our money in two different ways. One by selling the product and one by building a team. And so you make 50% on anything you ever sell, and you make a certain percentage on your team members based on what they sell. And here's the cool part. It doesn't come out of your 50% commission. It comes off of Mary Kay's 50% side. So we get our paycheck in the mail every month, and it's called our love check because we love to get them. Okay. So those are the two different ways. And what's really neat is, how you're a woman, right? Have you ever tried to lose weight? And everybody raises their hand. Nobody doesn't not raise their hand. So, okay, great. So when you're trying to lose weight, you can either work out or eat right, or do them both together for the best results. So in Mary Kay, you can either sell the product or build your team or do them together for the biggest paycheck. So what's neat is that you get to pick and choose. So that's the M. The R stands for rewards and recognition. And Mary Kay Ash, she knew that women needed a place to just feel like Cinderella and have that Cinderella treatment. So I know, like, pretend like we all have crowns on our head. That's how Mary Kay treated us. So they shower us with, from the very beginning of your business, a new consultant can earn her beautiful set of pearls within her first couple of weeks. And handbags. And honestly, I have maybe in the last 5-6 years bought myself one handbag because everything else was given to me from the company.
What a problem to have.
I know, right? And like, woe is us. So, and same with jewelry. Besides, jewelry that I buy for my girlfriends and stuff they buy for me, I don't think I've bought myself any jewelry in the last few years because I get so much from the company and I earn so much. So it's just really neat to see how Mary Kay really takes care of us and celebrates us at every single level that we're excited about. So I actually heard this when I first came into Mary Kay, and it's been proven true. If you sneeze right in Mary Kay, you get some kind of ribbon. Like, you can't not work and not be, rewarded. So that's the R. The S stands for self-growth. And I was shaking like a leaf when I had my first party because, yes, I didn't know the company all the way yet and the products all the way yet. I had my little flip chart, so I had the words to say, but I still had zero confidence in myself. very little self-esteem. I was this small. Like, I was not, it was really sad. Like, it's just the only way I could say it. And what I love about the company is that your mentors, your leaders, your team members, they care about you as a whole woman, not just as what can you make for me today? What can you sell to where I can make a profit? They really care about you as a whole person. And I know I'm a better mom, I'm a better wife, I'm a better friend, a better leader because of the women that I surround myself in this company because they're such positive high thinkers. And I mean, look, I made a best friend. So, now, obviously, Catherine wouldn't be there in a party for me to point to her, but you get what we're saying. So, MRS. C stands for the cars. Oh my gosh, y'all, we get free cars. Who wants a free car? Okay, everybody will raise their hand wanting a free car. So we can earn 3 different cars in Mary Kay. Our first one is a white Chevy Cruze. Our second one is a black Equinox, and or Ford Fusion. I forget that's there. My mind, I want an SUV.
She's in mommy mode.
I'm in mommy mode. We got a lot of paraphernalia we carry around with us. So Fusion, the black Fusion, or the black Equinox, and then of course the third one is that pink Cadillac. We're going to be driving pink soon. So those are the 3 cars you can earn in Mary Kay. And what's neat is that Mary Kay paid 85% of your insurance, the entire car note, the registration, the taxes, what else did it pay for? Maintenance. I mean, like, really, what would it feel like to have a free car and have all that stuff taken care of for you for the next forever?
And it smells brand new.
Oh, and every 2 years you get a new one. Yeah. So just when, like, for me, you have enough Cheerios shoved into the seats, you just turn it in and they give you a new one. And you don't got to clean out those Cheerios. So that's the cars. Someone can get excited about a free car. There you go. And then the last 2 kind of go together, A and B. A is achievement at your own pace, and B is be your own boss. Mary Kay always said, she used the little, it's actually, okay, never mind, I don't know where it is. It's a quote, well, it's a quote, it's a scientific fact that the bumblebee, aerodynamically, it's too small, its wings are too small for its big body to fly. And that's kind of, oh, you see it? Okay, so if you can grab it. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. Let me just read it to you. Let's see, it's a little picture frame in my office. Aerodynamically, the bumblebee shouldn't be able to fly, but the bumblebee doesn't know it, so it goes on flying anyways. How cool is that? Like, there's no one in Mary Kay to tell you you can't do something. I know, mind blown. We're not going to tell you you can only get to this far. There's no glass ceiling. There's no waiting in line for someone to either move on to another job, pass away, get fired, who knows what, to be promoted to that next level. You achieve based on how much you put into your business. So the more time and effort and energy you put into it, the more comes out of it. And B is be your own boss. You call the shots. You really do. You make your schedule. You decide when you can work, when you can work on your other priorities. And it's just really neat to be in control. So that's Mrs. Cap. Does anyone have any questions? And so then I open it up for any questions. And then once questions are done, usually there's only 2 or 3. And then I go back to the book and I show them this. And I talk about how to join Mary Kay. And again, all the information's there, pictures there, you're moving on with your party. So that's 2 different ways that you can share in a party.
So the last little thing we want to talk about is layering your potential team members. Believe it or not, the majority of people do not join Mary Kay the very first time they hear it.
What? That's like news to me. No, I'm just kidding.
Still living there.
I joined the first time I heard about it. Did you? No, you didn't. You took a while. Yeah. Okay, I guess there's people like her in the world.
So we have this wonderful team building layering chart.
Ooh, wow.
So what it does is it just asks you, it gives you an idea of what your next best step with her. So I'm going to read it off, and then I'm going to give you some good examples of like, okay, if you did her at the party, what would be her next step? So the different things are: is she on the product? Has she been a hostess for you? Does she have a team building packet? Has she watched a video? Has she attended a guest event? Has she been interviewed? And then what's her answer? What is she telling you? So, for example, if you have a girlfriend that you met her at a party and she said, I'm kind of interested, what would be your next step? So, my suggestion would be, of course, have some team building packets on hand. So you can send her home with some paperwork. I call mine the husband packet because she might go home and kind of be excited and be like, I'm thinking about doing this Mary Kay thing, and he's going to go doing what?
She needs some backup info.
So she has some backup info to take with her. But I also sent her home with a video to watch. So I like to use Callie's marketing video. There's lots of marketing videos out there, but that's my first choice to send her with, unless I'm doing a follow-up after that. So usually when she's sitting in front of me and she's not ready to order her kit today, she's not thinking about it, I'll say, okay, great. Here's a team building packet. You can just look over it. It has all the nitty gritty details, has a picture of the kit and why people start, that kind of thing. So look over that. And I'm going to text you a video to watch. And if you'll just watch it, she asks 3 questions at the end. Just send me your answers. And what I personally do is if they watch the video, they get a product of their choice at half price. Or I'll tell them I'll give them a little gift. And it can just be like some samples wrapped up. But I just kind of give her a little incentive to watch the video. But I actually text it to her when she's sitting right in front of me during the individual time. So I don't forget to just save the video in a note in my phone so I can just send it right to her. And then I actually ask her, when do you think you'd be willing to watch it? Or when do you have time? And that way I'll know. If she says tonight, I'll text her tomorrow morning and say, hey girl, did you watch the video? If she hasn't texted me back. Follow up. Because here's what happened. She goes home and her kid has gotten sick, or work calls her and has an emergency, and she's really interested in Mary Kay. It just gets put on the back burner. So when I text her and say, hey, did you watch the video? She might go, oh, I forgot, but I, on my lunch break today, I promise I'll watch it.
And she knows you were going to text her, so she's not bugged. Because I feel like that's a huge thing too, that we feel like we're annoying people with our communication. But if you just tell them, hey, when do you think you can watch this? Okay, I'll follow up then. They don't feel like you're annoying them because they gave you permission to, okay, sounds good,
So you're going to have her watch that video. So then the next step after watching a video, if she's still not a sign me up right now kind of girl, in the video, Callie asks, is she an A, a B, or a C? So B is buying me a cup of coffee. So that's usually the next answer they give you. So like, oh, I think I'm a B. So hey, well, let's get together. Do you like coffee? Do you want to meet for a soda? Do you want some ice cream? Like, where do you want to meet? And before I went into directorship, I did all my coffee meetings with my director because she was the pro. I was new. I didn't know every single objection. And I could just sit back and enjoy my cup of coffee
and learn.
Yes,
take notes.
It's a note. But my director did the hard stuff. And really the answers weren't hard. It was just that sometimes we're a little uncomfortable. So my director knew the answer. She knew the answer.
And same thing about having your director there in person. I did not. I was in Texas. Callie was in Florida. Yeah, that's where y'all from. And so because we were far apart, we did 3-way calls. So same thing. It was me, my potential recruit, and her on the phone. And I just muted myself out of the call to where any background noise wasn't heard on the call, but I was listening intently. And she did the same thing, just instead of it being person to person, it was over the phone. So if you have someone far away, or if you live far away from us, you can still do this. It is still okay. And then I've kind of jokingly said, okay, awesome. So we just did your coffee over the phone. Whenever I see you next, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. So it can be done even from far away. So I just thought I might plug that in.
Yeah, absolutely. Another next layer for her could be, is there an event going on near you? Is there a WOW night? Is there a roar night? Is someone doing a beauty bar? Is there an event where she can go and get just a little bit bigger picture of what's going time. So that is a great step as well.
I think that's it. And you know what? Sometimes they need to come to a couple events. Sometimes they need to, don't feel like, okay, I've exhausted, I've done all the things on this list, and she still said no, or no, she still isn't saying yes. If someone flat out says no, okay, start moving on. You know what I mean? But I've had some people on my team that are great that took about a year to decide to say yes. And all I did was, is it okay if I still invite you to some events, until the time is ready for you? And she said, yes, absolutely. No big deal. Invite me. And so there's one woman that I invited about 7 different times to different events. She had watched Callie's video. She had watched somebody else's video. She had been on a live Facebook event. And it finally clicked after about a year. And she never said no to anything. She always said, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. And it took that many layers, and now she's on fire. So you don't give up on people, but you also don't drive them crazy if they already said no. So,
well, that's why I love having a chart like this, so that you can put them on that chart so you don't forget about them. They say that a woman's situation changes every 30, 60, and 90 days. So it just, sometimes it is like, it's just not a good time right now, when I am interested. Keep her on your list. And whenever they say now is not a good time, just like Sarah said with following up of them watching the video, I ask them, just like she said, is it okay if I invite you to an event? Or now's not a good time. Okay, is it okay if I check back with you in, 2 months from now, and just see how life is going? And that way, when I follow up with them again, I don't feel like I'm bugging her, because she told me she was interested. That's true. But she also can kind of take me a little bit more seriously, because I followed up with her when I told her I would.
You're a woman of your word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what we have for you today with sharing and growing your team. We would love to see each and every one of you become a leader.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
It really is. It's like joining the big girls club of, all right, I'm a serious businesswoman now. I got this. I know what I'm doing. So is there anything else we got to tell them? I think that's it. Oh, homework?
Oh, yes. So this week, we want you to check your email box for your homework. Okay? The most important. Yeah, look for it.
Check your email.
We're only so organized when we're together on vacation.
Right? Sometimes we just, this was a feat in and of itself. Yes, we recorded something for you guys. So we just can't wait to see how sharing impacts not only your life, but most importantly, the lives of other women. So actually, one last little anecdote. I was listening to a top director talk about how when she was at the Equinox level, and she just could not get out of the Equinox level of car, and she wanted to get to that pink Cadillac, and she just could not get there, and couldn't see herself getting there, and she started to think to herself and even voice out loud to her husband saying, maybe that's just not for me. I'm good right here. And Equinox is a great car. It's been through the company. I'm still making some money. It's okay. And just hearing that contentment of, there's a difference between settling and there's a difference with being content. And she was not content because she still wanted to grow, but she settled for, this is okay. And her husband said this to her, and she was like, my jaw hit the floor. He said, oh, well, that's a shame, because that just means it's all those different lives that are not being impacted by you trying to earn your Cadillac. And it was like, dang, it wasn't about the car anymore. It was about all the different women that she was meant to meet, that she was putting, closing the door on, because she decided that it's okay. Staying in an Equinox is okay. So you never know. You never know what women's situations are. I feel like half the women on my team, I would have never seen them on my team, because I would have prejudged that they didn't need extra cash, they didn't need girlfriend time, they didn't need whatever they came in for. So you'd be surprised. So keep going, don't ever stop sharing.
So on that, we're going to end that with Sarah's mic dropping quote.